Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the NXT Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. What an NXT we have for you coming up. We get the return of Corey Graves. Corey Graves returned back to the broadcast booth after last week's NXT ordeal. Corey Graves set to return to the broadcast booth here on the NXT. But we get the thing started here on the NXT Ring Report with a lot of NXT action, as well as the championship match between Obi Femi versus Eddie Thorpe. I'm gonna say Eddie Thorpe. We get to the whole action and about Obi Femi versus Eddie Thorpe for the championship as the NXT Ring Report starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the NXT Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kid Dix here. Glad you joined us here on the NXT Ring Report. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call. NXT Ring Report with this. Corey Graves slated to return. Corey Graves back on the mic again after a week of his absence. We told you last week Corey Graves felt some type of way about his position, about Pat McAfee and the rest of them. Corey Graves back at the Corey Graves sent this right here that he had a lot to say. Well, he did have a lot to say, but he didn't bring it up. Corey Graves, but they wouldn't go right here as a storyline. They wanted to move away from it. What went down? So I guess they said like it didn't exist tonight. So you see how that's going to go. Well, we tell you this. What's his name? Forgot his name. Tony D'Angelo was in action. Tony D'Angelo, you see right here, retained the NXT champ, the NXT North American title. Tony D'Angelo getting his reps in. Tony D'Angelo retained the championship. Forgot against who? Hey, it don't matter. Well, we see a cat fight right here eluding Bailey. Corey J, Roxanne Perez, and Julia were all in the middle of the ring. We said that tonight. Bailey and them want to get their hands on Roxanne Perez and Julia. Roxanne Perez and Corey J might have to get their hands tied with Bailey and Julia. Julia, the new NXT Women's Champion, had to win the championship last week, 2 weeks ago. Julia did it by becoming the new NXT Women's Champion. Did so with her stamp of approval by Julia. So Julia looking found a new ally in Bailey, and Bailey and Julia now the role. They even fought backstage. So these women want to get their hands on each other. And Bailey getting some time to do for her time and stuff. But we see. Well, we see Stephanie Ventura. She thought she was going to be the number one contender for the NXT North American Championship. But Stephanie Ventura put out there that she wants to be next in line for a shot. Whoever wins the NXT North American Women's Championship, she wants to be next in line. So we could see that being a possibility and how that's going to go. But speaking of that, Lexis King came out there. Lexis King retained his Heritage Cup over Charles Dempsey once again. Lexis King the brunt over Charlie Dempsey again. So Lexis King retained his NXT North America, his Heritage Cup. We got special messages from Bianca Belair and Naomi. Bianca Belair sent a special message to Last Legend Jakar Jackson. Bianca Belair and Naomi sent that special message that they're coming to NXT next week, and they're going to be coming to NXT to defend the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Last Legend and Jakar Jackson on their turf on NXT. But this time they'll be in Atlanta, and the women's tag team championships will be on the line next week. So we'll see that coming up. But it was a nice video package and Bianca on their appearance and stuff. Speaking of tag team champions, former tag team champions, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory also made an appearance, saying they're going to be guesses. They're going to be bringing the Grayson Waller effect, the NXT, and the Grayson Waller saying he wants to interview the biggest one. So Ava said you're going to interview the NXT champion, whoever they may be. Ava said whoever the NXT champion is, that's who you interview next week. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. It looked like Jada Parker may have some new competition in Keani Jordan. Keani Jordan trying to stick her nose in Jada Parker's business by costing Jada Parker her match tonight. And Jada Parker wants to get some retribution and revenge on Keani what she did. Keani may have to look around on what she did to Jada Parker to cost her the match. So we'll see coming up. Speaking of that, I don't know what to call this group. They grizzled, young. They look grizzled and crazy. That's why I call grizzled. Sean Spears' new team that he's promoting look grizzled and crazy and grizzled. All right, and they did so tonight. But Sean Spears may have something on his eye if he wants them to become tag team champions. He may have a right and may have an opportunity on how that's going to be. Well, Trick Williams getting the face of Wesley. Trick Williams will meet Wesley next week. These two men will meet one on one. Wesley with a new attitude, a new confidence after defeating Dion Lennox tonight. Trick Williams looking to get back on the road to regaining the championship. He probably had to go through Wesley and a bunch of others to get his title back. But Trick Williams didn't stop there, attacking anyone in sight that really cost him his match tonight. We'll tell you a little bit later on what Trick's gonna do a little bit later on. We tell you this: Axion and Nathan Frazier, the NXT Tag Team Champions, enjoying a lot of success. They will start by this Thursday on TNA to defend their tag team titles against the Rascals 1-on-1. So we'll see that. This is a recent picture of them, the NXT Tag Team Champions, with the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys still hanging on. The Hardy Boys team is Screen, and they've been teaming Screen for damn near almost what 20, almost 30 years. The Hardy Boys, but the team is Screen. And Hardy Boys look like they ain't gonna stop. They ain't gonna stop one bit, but we could see that being a future match. But Axion and Frazier getting themselves together. Well, guess who was in the house? DDP. DDP was in the house. DDP, the Hall of Famer, stopped by NXT to enjoy the action. I guess he liked what he sees, and DDP is that. So hey, we see how that's gonna go. Well, you see right here, we told you right here, Jada Parker cost Keanu Jordan cost Jada Parker a match against Catcher Putnam Noville. So also too, we get to this the NXT Championship match right here. We saw um, Obi Femi defending the championship against Eddie Thorpe and beat Eddie Thorpe if, academically with the power bomb to get the win. Now Trick Williams comes out of nowhere. Trick wants his championship back. I kind of figured Trick wants his championship back. So Trick Williams wants a championship match. You could see that by Trick coming up, coming forward and see. So how that's gonna be. Trick Williams and stuff like that. All right, that is the NXT Ring Report. Let's move on quickly to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, get to this right here. NXT WWE announced on the world for WrestleMania Las Vegas right here that we're seeing them coming back from the world, and they'll say tickets going to sell. I guess this will be a fan fest for NXT for the WWE World. So we'll see how that's going to go eventually for the NXT World coming their way for WrestleMania in Las Vegas weekend. Come soon rather than later. Also, too, Brooke Hogan announced that she gave birth to twins. That's making Hulk Hogan a grandfather for the first time. The Hulkster now a granddad, and the Hulkster. Let's hope Brooke Hogan. Brooke Hogan kind of like she does right, and Hulk Hogan is gonna have to you know how that be. Brooke Hogan stuff. Her granddad with a lot of controversy surrounding him, her dad. Hopefully, let's teach him a lesson. Be a little bit soft. We'll see. All right, we know next week the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships are on the line as Bianca Belair and Naomi set to defend the titles against Last Legend and Jakar Jackson next week. We'll see that match on NXT coming up. How this is going to be fitting and appropriate coming up as well. So that's going to do it for the NXT Ring Report. It was a short NXT Ring Report. It really wasn't too much going on tonight. Big style stuff. We're gonna leave you with the face-to-face confrontation between Obi Femi and the new NXT champion and Trick Williams, a former NXT champion, who wants his championship back. I've been your host, Kendrick Dix, saying so long. Thanks for watching the NXT Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show.